So, hello, everybody. So, this meeting is about nothing, about everything. It's about non duality. Non duality. Non duality is not two, everything is one. That's strange because we normally are used to say or see that there's me and there's the world happening or other people or circumstances. So, there seems to be always two, like right and wrong and good and bad and before and after. And then there's hearing, oh no, there's only one. So there's this complete another possibility. It has nothing to do with the story. And that's strange because what we are used to think is in the story. It's how we can deal with everything. And this is not about you. There is no you. There is no me. There is no you. There is no us. There's no one. There's no one inside this body, you could say, in the story. When there's living in the story, there's living in time and distance. So there's inside, outside, there's before and after. That's the normal way. There's an evolution, there's development, there's continuation. There seems to be, I'm over here and I'm going over there, or there's someone over there. And then hearing, there's no time. Time is a construct. There is no time. There's also no distance. It's crazy. It's like, what what is happening? And then they're saying, no, there's nothing happening. This is an appearance of energy. And it's like there's an appearance of table, walls, feelings, streets, sound. But it's not for someone or happening to someone. It is what is apparently happening. It's complete out of the story. It has nothing to do with circumstances. This has nothing to do with you. There is no one who develops. No one can lose the me or all kinds of way like there's it's going better, things like that. That's what we normally used to think, like, oh, there's something going on and it's not that strong as before. Trying to compare with something else. Before, how you were before. There's no before. There's this. And that's new. There's no before. There's also no after. So there's no past or future. That's only the story of me thinking I'm existing. And I can understand that there was something before because I have memories and I can think about yesterday and I can think about what's going on, will go on in the future, and we can work it out, things like that. How can we deal with everything? That's normally what's going on when you're living in the story and what's
Mhm.
happening. And there's no one. So there's not happening to someone. Life is what is apparently happening, walls. It's that. It's not someone seeing a wall. We are not the center. We are so convinced that I am the center of my world and everything is around. And there can be also the world and other countries and all that. And then hearing this, no, there's no inside, there's also no outside. That's amazing. That's like complete a new or different possibility. There's no outside, so there's no world. There can be information about what's going on television, or reading that, but that's what is in the paper. There's information. That's everything. This is very, very, very literally, without abstracting anything. And that what when there's me in the story and I'm living my life, there's constantly and on top of what's going on, there's what's going on and abstracting, and a lot of concepts and beliefs are going on. This is talking about any concept or beliefs. It's literally sharing what is happening. That's the only thing what's happening in these meetings. There's nothing going on like you have to believe this or this is the truth or all that. This is a sharing of what's going on, or there's nothing going on in the end. So it's also impossible to say what this is. This, that's what we talk about. So this is a sharing, or this is a sharing in words, but words are not not saying really exactly how it is, because you can't say it in words. This is a sharing. It's also it's more energetically. It's underneath the words. It's in the tone. I can't even say how it's going. Sometimes it's the word understanding the words, but understanding is just superficial. So there's no need to understand. That's also crazy, because normally we think it's about being clear, about understanding. Finally, I understand what's going on. There's clarity. But when there's someone who has clarity, that subtle me that can be there. And when there's me, there's a dividing. There's me and the world, or what's going on. And there's something about right and wrong in that. So that same story goes on. This is better than that, or anything else. I have lost. There's nothing going on here, and we will try to help you to make it for you, that it happens for you too, something like that. There's already no one. So there's no need for help. There's no need for anything. It's already that what is happening. There can be a misunderstanding. But being clear about that misunderstanding is also the same me that's being clear. So me is that construct that's subtly or stronger, is like, there's something gone wrong, there's something missing, it's not complete yet, or there's something, like that, a search going on. And it can be in all kind of ways. There's so many different ways to search. It can be in spiritual search, it can be money or relation, can be a non-duality teacher. It's ever, and there will be never being sure about, is this the right one or is not the right one to listen to. So there's no right or wrong. There's not being sure or not being sure. There's a sharing of this, and maybe there's a resonance. I don't know. There's talking. I don't know where the talking is coming from. It's from nothing. It's just that what's being shared. So we can talk about that, and we can see what happens. Maybe there are questions about something, what's going on in the story. Maybe there's some issues you want to be talking about. There can be anything. It doesn't matter what it's the question or what's the subject. There can't be something wrong. It's never wrong. That's amazing, because when we're living in the story and there's something going on, like, oh, there's something not right, or trying to feel, I'm sure this is really what's going on, because that feels a bit more safe and steady, trying to deal with everything. And this is about not knowing anything. There's no one, there's nothing to grasp, there's nowhere to go. It's what it is. It's also very simple and ordinary. It's no big deal. It's not like you see it or somebody else sees it. It's what it is, and that's what's going on. So, in that way, life is normal and not special or different in that way. You could say that there's no escape. Maybe then, when there's me, there's trying to escape and trying to feel better and trying to do and believing that you're able, with your free will, you're able to change what's going on. when there's when that's all lost, there's no free will. There's nothing going on, like trying to change anything. It doesn't happen, or those thoughts are not there. Maybe they can be there, but they're only thoughts. Thoughts are thoughts happening. There's nothing powerful at thoughts or special or important. Thoughts are thoughts, like the table is table. It's exactly what it is, and that's complete in it. What the way it's happening is complete. So there's nothing to be changed or all that. And there seems to be circumstances. It seems like, oh, it should be different. It's better that it changes and we have to do something about it. That story is the story of me. And it jumps on anything. It doesn't matter. It can be on climate change. It can be on yourself, like I'm not good enough. It's coloring everything. There's no one. There's no one. There is what is happening, and that's complete. It's full on, and there's nothing happening. It's an appearance of energy, and it seems because you can see and light and all that. It's like circumstances and bodies and streets, and feelings, and sound and smell, sense, like sense, smell. It's very simple and very ordinary and very literally one. So we can talk about that. Maybe a question, or you can write something if you want to, and we'll see. There can be silence, and when there's a lot, when there's we have that yesterday. When there's a time that when there's a silence for a while, silence isn't the thing. There can be silence. There can be talking. It's the same. So there's nothing going on. When there's suddenly in the silence, there's a question coming, and you can unmute yourself and start talking. Hmm. There's also nothing special about Rose. There is no Rose. That's also very strange because we're so normal. It's like finding that someone is speaking or there's a body there, and we assume there's someone in that with his life or her life and how that's going. And when there's a speaker in this kind of meetings, it seems like she has something or she has not something. What I don't want that. I want that to happen too, or all that. There is no Rose. When there's the loss of everything, that's also that Rose isn't there. There was never a Rose or a Rose. There was never Rose or something like that. And it's not only about Rose, it's about there are no individuals. We assume there's a life of someone, and that's the story of that life and how I'm going and how I have to deal with that. And this is about there's no life of Rose. There is no individual. There is no one. So it's not in the body, in this body, there's no one. No, there's nothing going on. And there can be that face, and that's everything. So Rose is not special or something else. It's the same as anything else. There is that what is happening, that face, the wall. There is no Rose. There is no other people. Yeah, there can be seeing a body, then that body is there. But there's no light, there's no person and no individual in that. That's the brain can abstract in that story and seems like there's something going on and there's a separation and a continuation and all that. And then hearing there's no time. When there's no time, there's no continuation. So there's no one. This is everything. This is new. New. There's nothing before. It's stunning. There are no silly questions. It can be anything. When there's living in the story, there can be so many questions and so many things that you don't understand, or it's like it's frustrating, or all that. There can be any question or any sharing about what's going on. It's never silly or wrong. It's what it is. And maybe there's a talking about it together, or not. We can see what that's what's happening. There's nothing wrong. It can't be wrong. It's what it is. That's very neutral. Everything is neutral.
Yeah, Rose.
Hi.
Um, I think, yeah, it's still because of my Buddhist teachings that I don't understand this. Um, so when there was one big soup, when there was no individual, one big soup, then I'm thinking then everything is connected.
Hmm. Yeah, that seems like because we're so into like relations and connections. Yeah, that can be that can be that seeing in that way. Ho- What is yeah? I can only say what's here is like there's wall and that's everything, and then there are no relations with anything. It's what it is. There's no need for connection because that what is already complete. It's everything. And when there's that I don't know, there seems to be something missing when there's an individual and I'm in the story and then trying to find and maybe in relation or in connecting or in love or in freedom and uh, there's nothing missing. So that wall is that's everything. It's already so there's no need for connection or anything else. There is nothing else. But we are living in time, so there's there's this and that. How can I explain? Yeah.
In a way, I understand you. Yeah.
There are no connections because that's two. That's so strange because that's what we normally think. There's always two. That's the way everything seems to happen and to be seen. And hearing there's one, it's like, huh? How is that possible? Of course. Yeah, that's so out of the
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
You cleared something up. Thank you very much.
Oh. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was a long time that I was struggling with this a little bit, but now yeah, now I understand more. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hmm. The strange thing is, there's no knowing here, you could say, or wisdom, or understanding, or clarity. So when there's a question, there's no knowing, and so and there can be some talking, and then there's saying that it's nothing speaking. It's not Rose has a clarity, and then there's coming out that those words. It's there's nothing, and then that. Well, it's not only here, it's everywhere. So it's also not, it's clarity is not like the Holy Grail. There can be clarity, yeah, so what? It's nothing. It's just something you have. So when everything is lost, it's there, there's still that, there's, there's talking and there's a response from nothing. It's just how you can see it in the story. There's no wisdom, there's no clarity. There is an answer in that way. Has nothing to do with Rose. It's already happening, but we are so looking at it because that's what's going on with me. There's looking at it and seeing like, oh, but when I talk, it's not that clear. But it's not about clarity. When you talk, that same way, it's talking. That's from nothing. You could say from nothing. It's already that. But life is not about clarity. Life is about what is. So that talking is already complete. Life isn't about something. This is better than that, or this is more clear than that. That's what we normally think it is, and we compare and all that. Life is everything. It's unconditional. That's the freedom. It's unconditional. So it doesn't matter what it is. There can be a way of talking. Then that is complete already. That doesn't mean it's nice or it's beautiful or it's like that. It's talking in that way. It's complete. There's nothing wrong or right with that. It's what it is. Hmm.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, hello.
There was kind of question arising. When you say there's or just one, that seems that there should be a kind of harmony, but because there's nothing different from anything else. So, and when I looking about this body is in um contrast to the environment somehow. Yeah, that feels quite strange because the body shows reaction to a circumstance or stuff like that, and it's not a personal thing. It's just the body reacts to something out there and respond in a weird way and say, "Okay, that is not good for the body or healthy for the body or stuff like that." That's really strange because there seems to be differences in the reaction to circumstances. And when there's a kind of difference, one side is there, difference, one side is there. There's no difference between inner and outer. I think there should be more harmony in there, in this whole appearance, more or less. But it didn't doesn't seem the case. Could you say something about it?
Yeah, but harmony, we have an idea about harmony
Yeah,
and perfection and all that. And that's related to how I feel in a way, or it's how I see the world. And it's like, that kind that it's harmony. Yeah, maybe you could say it's in balance. There's it's neutral, so it's has nothing to do with how you feel about it or how you see it. It's exactly how it is. That's the perfection. It's completely in balance. Well, in a different way as when we look at balance and harmony, because we have an idea about that feels good or it looks like peace or it's going smoothly or all that. That's not what I'm talking about. Life is in a different way. It's like in nature. You could say in the same thing. It's everything. It's I heard somebody talking about the fire and it's like it doesn't care. It's like, yeah, it's just completely neutral. It's just what's happening. Waff. There's nothing going on like, oh God, how do you feel about that when I'm saying that or all that? It's just waff. And that's what's going on. And we are inside of it and we think like, oh yeah, but oh, that's not fair. Or there's no justice in that, or all kind of ideas about what
yeah,
should and shouldn't. That's the abstracting what we do. Life is what it is. That's it. It's energy like that, positive. In that way, it's like that energy in like molecules and because it seems like there's circumstances and bodies and streets and feelings, it's and we are so into in the body, and this is mine in a certain way. Also, maybe it's not personal, but still there's something going on, like ideas about how it could be, or maybe can be, or all that. It's exactly how it is. That's amazing, because we are so into something else normally, and hearing it's already complete like this, where there's pain or stress or all that. Yeah, how can you say that's complete and that's perfection or all that? It's not in that way perfection, like it feels good. It's exactly how it is. Yeah, it's there's nothing saying about how it should or shouldn't. There's no ideas, no beliefs about that. It's more a sharing about this is what's happening. Very like that, but it's for no one, so there's no right and wrong in that.
It feels quite strange how any form of resistance could arise when there's just oneness. I mean, there's nothing there to resist to anything else.
But the resistance is an idea that is a resistance. It's a word that we use. There can be stress, but that's stress or like this. We call it resistance because we're living in the
Yeah.
story, and this is right, and you shouldn't. You should be more open or all that. It, I don't. I can't say I use the word resistance. I don't see resistance. There's tension maybe, or in the body or something like that. Then that is resistance.
Yeah, well,
For me, it seems a little bit like the story also.
yeah, I mean, also the body of Rose or anybody more or less, or who's appearing and put in a difficult environment more or less, react in a certain way. It seems that there's an outer environment that something is put in there and this environment couldn't deal with the environments. That
Mm,
seems to be true. There could
mm.
seems to be an environment and resistance to the environments could because the body is not meant to deal with the environments it is in. So
But
that's
there's no someone in the environment.
yeah.
That's one. It's one. That's crazy because we're so into like there's someone in the environment and there's a dealing or somewhere. No, there's no it's one. So there's no body in in the environment. It's one. So but it's going very quick and it's like changing, and so but there's no dealing. It's what it is. Stress, streets, food, like that. So there's no resistance. It's part of the story because it's assuming there's someone inside. There's dealing with that. That so that's the normal way in the story to talk about what's going on. And this is completely saying no. There's only one. It's one. So there's nothing apart from what is happening, like the wall or a feeling. Then that feeling is everything. Stress.
Mm. There's this idea of one of singularity brings up the idea that there should be peace or
Ah.
yeah,
In a
there's
way, there is, but the freedom or the peace or that is that there's nothing trying to change it, and it's exactly that. So there's that stress, and that's when there's nothing going on about trying to change it, and that's unconditional love, stress. What we can't even imagine how that is because we're so into there's something, oh God, what is going on here, and it's already jumping on it. So there's when there's me, there's you can't even imagine what oneness is. But in that way, there's you can sometimes you call it joy or peace or something else, and that's what we're looking for. But it's you could say it's just a bit like moving to the background when there's trying to deal with everything. When there's that is lost, that then there's no one, there's not that whole construct isn't working, or then suddenly it's like, oh well, and it doesn't matter when there's stress. It's also, yeah, it's not peace. It's light. It's I can't. It's difficult to say what it is, but there's something else. It's like also the wonder, and in the same time, it's together. It's like, oh God, it's painful or whatever. It's that's the amazing thing of life. It's unconditional love, and it's whoa, whoa, in the same time or together. Yeah,
Yeah, because somehow it's kind of strange because
yeah,
there are times in life where we feel in tune with the environment. Okay, we feel well, everything is
mm,
going okay, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
this harmony comes up again, and oh, everything is wrong, and everything
yeah,
goes the wrong direction, and
yeah,
we all know this kind of situation where it's okay, life is okay, everything is
yeah,
fine, it
yeah,
works out
yeah, yeah,
well, and everything. And then there are times where, oh shit, let's
yeah,
go, it
yeah. Of
goes
course,
down the
yeah, yeah,
drain
yeah, yeah.
completely. And
Mm,
I think,
yeah,
I think all of the time when we come to this kind of meetings, we're looking to get more in tune with, okay,
ah,
everything is okay, and
ah,
yeah, and there, everything's right and stuff like that. I think it's kind of why we probably join in this kind of meetings and stuff like that as internal drive. Okay,
mm,
everything is okay, and we are
yeah,
getting tuned.
yeah,
So this personal story falls away and everything, and we
yeah.
get more in tune with everything. And but
Yeah, but that when there's me, there's some ideas about how it
yeah,
would look like, and then we think like it's okay. It's not okay. Oh God, it's not okay. When there's pain or there's I don't know illness or it's not okay. Like oh, okay, let the illness come, and oh God, no. It's I don't. It's I. There can be anything going on, but there's nothing trying to change it. That's so completely different. When anything can arise, that's so weird, and we think we can deal with in a certain way. That's what we normally do, and that's the way we think. Like when there's no one, there will be something going on like that. No, that's completely lost. That dealing with it. So
mhm,
it's completely naked. It's whatever is going on. It's going on, and there can be a lot of thoughts. There can be stress. There can be panic. There can be nothing and just streets. It's just and it's new and it's yeah. How can you even tell how it is? So there all the ideas about what's going on when there's no one. It's only ideas. It's
yeah,
completely in. You can't even imagine. I can't even tell how it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Thank you.
it's amazing. The strange thing is, it has nothing to do with circumstances. That's amazing because that's what we normally feel or think like, yeah, but those circumstances, when there's illness or something, the job is lost, there's no money or whatever is going on, or there's relation broken up and all that, it has nothing to do with what's what's the feeling is just everything is singular, so there can be circumstances and everything is singular, and we are used that there's some relation in in a subtle or stronger way, or thinking oh this is personal, but it's still that's still a certain uh, when everything is neutral, you say like yeah everything is neutral, it's okay, there's still something like a relation in that. There's really nothing, so there's no Rose. The body isn't real. So it's singular. Oh God! And then when there's suddenly that all is lost, it's suddenly oh, it has nothing to do with dealing with anything or okay or that. Life is that. Life is that peace or joy or what, and it has nothing to do with circumstances. Oh, I'm really shouting. I think. God, it's like wow, it's amazing. Yeah.
And as soon as there's any form of recognizing of a circumstance, there's distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And that can be, oh, it's so convincing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Mm. Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
Uh,
The one is no one. There's something going. In the past, I thought there is a relationship between consciousness, the behavior of people, and climate change, nature disasters. Can you say something about that? Is it just that there's no relation? There are no relations. No. We assume that there are people, there are individuals, there is a world, there are people in the world doing things there. So there is thinking in time and in distance. That's what we normally do in the story. There's a relation because of this, what we do as individuals. It has some effect on the nature and all that. This is completely out of that story. It has nothing to do with circumstances. There is no world. There is no time. Oh my God, this is so completely out of the story. We are so involved in anything. We try to deal with it and when there's coming to these meetings, they're trying to deal maybe in a different way, but they're still trying to deal and understand in the way we normally think in relations and cause and effect. There is no cause and effect. That's incomprehensible in a way because it's like everything seems to be cause and effect. There's a relation between that and all. And then hearing this is there can be some resonance, but it's completely like out of the whole story. It's singular. Everything is singular. So there can be circumstances. It's already different, and it's new, and it's new, and that there's nothing outside. Where's the outside? You can abstract. There's something outside of this room, and there will be the street or anything. But that's an idea about what's going on. This is everything. This is already everything. So it's completely different. No, it's not even different. It's more than different than than the story. It's so normal to see circumstances as real and solid or maybe changing. Well, it's that. It's that. It's this. It's that. It's and this is everything. Walling, sitting, hand, glass. And it's you can't even follow. It's so quick. It's like quick. Well, there's no one in it, so there's no one seeing it. Ah, this is crazy. It's crazy. It's even how can people come to these meetings and talking about there's nothing happening and it's an appearance and there's no relation and all that because we're so involved in being busy with the world and other people and myself. And there's no one. It's not only in this body there's no one. No, there is no Rose. There is no individual. Ah, well, that's also the freedom. It's suddenly exactly what it is. It's that. There's nothing right or wrong. That's what we make of it when there's I am in the story and there's distance from here to there and there's over there's someone. So it seems like I'm here and there's someone and I have to deal or relate and all that. It's like really little children. There's no identification. There's no one. So there's feeling that now go like, ah, like that. It's there's no we tried to find out what's the reason, why, and all that. It's already gone. It's already different. It's new. And it's you can't keep you can't when there's a little baby, it's like you have to look at it. It's like amazing what's going on. There's so much. It's so unconditional love. It's like moving around and there's no that identification. It's just what and this and ah and that. It's like it's stunning. There's something else with it too. It's not only there's some little thing movie. There's something else. That's that unconditional love. How can you say it? It's like, fascinating. That's what we're looking for, that innocence, that no identification, that and it seems like it's lost during time. But it's like everything is more abstracting and looking at it and making it into something real and why and time and all that. And then suddenly, oh, it never was lost. It's a misunderstanding, but it's so strong and so convincing that there's something happening to me and to the world and anything. It's hand. Oh, already. Oh,
It's amazing.
yeah, it is. It is.
It's very nice to hear you speaking.
Oh, thanks. Mm, mm. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Rose. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi.
I.
Yeah, because I'm
There's
sitting in
no
the
background.
because I'm sitting in the cafe, so I hope you don't
Ah,
hear
yeah.
the noise. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. So, yeah.
Good, good. Um, it was just so beautiful what you were saying because it was not even the context; it was just the aliveness, and
Mm, mm,
I don't know. It was really nice.
mm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why. It just reminded me like that I had like 2 weeks ago. I got like on the telephone. Somebody told me like that a family member just died. And it was so weird because it was just like there was not really a reaction coming like in a dramatic or like oh wow or like a shock. It was like as if I was hearing like something very normal, and I was shocked from it because it was like very strange. I still can't really even understand what happened. It felt like it was just like very normal thing that happened. And of course, there was a lot of family member, there was grieving and there was a lot of emotions. So if I would be around them, I would feel that, like, and I would feel the same. But I was on my own, and it felt like just like a very natural thing to happen. So that was really something to go through. But I also noticed, like, when that has something like this happening, that most of the difficulty, like when losing someone, because we're like in a relationship and we attach, and that's very normal. That there was so much grief, I think, about of the me, like about the loss, a loss of something. It's so difficult to deal with. I think, like there is
Well,
like part,
it can be
yeah, yeah,
grief, and it can be
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
crying, or yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. That's normal, but I see like there's so much of it. It's like so much difficult, like to let go, or so much like dealing like when change come, or there's a loss of something, and that creates so much of the fear of death. Like now we're very close to something that is like not here anymore. It was
Mm,
just very interesting to go through that. I
yeah.
think. Um,
But it's not that can happen like that. But maybe then, oh, I hear myself repeating. But in the same time, it can happen in the next time. You could say it can happen completely different, and somebody is saying, and there's something else going on. There's
yeah,
no,
yeah,
in that way, it's new, and it's energetic, and maybe in certain situation is different than in another one. So you never know will go on.
that's true. That can be different next time.
Yeah,
Which is very strange. Like there is no control about like how you're
yeah,
gonna feel about certain things. It's
yeah,
just not. Yeah,
yeah.
it's not
Because we
fixed.
think there's a development in that, maybe. So it will. Oh God, there's never, and next time, woof, it's going like that. Yeah, it's so it's random. It's like you can't
Yeah,
even understand. You don't need to understand. You can, maybe there can be an understanding, but
yeah,
it's also
and
random.
that's true because 1 week later I got very emotional for one day and then it
Yeah,
disappeared. So very interesting
yeah,
to see. It's not like fixed like
yeah,
all the time, same thing.
yeah,
And there's
yeah,
just like that freedom that it is just the way it is. I don't have to try to ask why I feel that way now.
yeah, yeah.
1 week after I feel that, and then I feel like guilty because I don't feel like the same about
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because there's a subtle, like, that's better.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
And maybe
yeah,
maybe that's what you mean in relationship. Like when there is relationship, you feel like you have to behave in a certain way, or you have to
mm,
And
yeah.
when
There's
it's
so
like
many ideas. Yeah,
yes, yes, yes. And when it's not there, it's just like you can feel whatever you feel, and that's just the way it is. I don't have to
yeah,
explain that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's so embodied. That's so strong, and suddenly that's the freeing. Like, there's that all those concepts and beliefs about how to and all that
yeah,
can dissipate or fall away, or not being that strong. And
yeah,
that's the freedom. It's what, and I don't know why. It's like shouting, maybe, or I don't know,
yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and there is so much. I mean, there's so much joy in just being able to not that I'm doing it. That it just can be. I mean, what it is without trying to
Yeah.
control it or
Yeah.
like. I used to be like, yeah, but why is this? And why do I feel this way?
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
and I think this is also part of the relationship, right? Like I make like relationship with my emotions and feelings and people, and it gets very complex, and I have to understand that, and I have to. And when
Mm.
it's not there, it's just like it's much more loose, or like there's not always connection, not always connection.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's the freedom. The feelings can be maybe even stronger, or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah,
is going on. But
yeah,
it's strange because we have so many ideas and concepts about how to live your life and how to relate and what you do. But it's so embodied. There can be still that going on. There can be like that's going on. But so what? So what in that way? Like, there can be patterns or way of behaving. Like when I was like somewhere and I was saying something about I didn't agree with what's going on, and then somebody explained why it was, and there was a freeze, and then afterwards there was like, why didn't I say something about it? So that can happen too. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even then, there is no control about that, right?
No,
It's just
there's no. So
yeah,
it will not say like, oh, then
No,
there's a
no, no,
freedom,
no.
and it's no. It can be anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's so funny. It's like
Yeah. It's
yeah,
not better.
no. And
No.
you can't fix it. It's because it's not permanent. It's every time it's different. So
Yeah. 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 And maybe for it's lower. It's not that peaks and lows are not that strong, and it's like it's more like that in that way. It's not that strong any. I can
yeah,
maybe it's something like that, but that's still suddenly that can be rough, and then it's going like that. Yeah.
yeah. It
Yeah.
it seems to be like that. Like in relationship, part of the relationship that we try to fix things. Like
Yeah.
we try to fix
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
behaviors or like
Mm.
way of thinking, or like if it happened one time, it should happen the same next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to feel good or comfortable or safe. So you try to deal with the other person that he or she don't do that anymore to me, or you should take care, or all that. That's it's so strong to feel
Yeah.
good, and it's not, yeah, it's not strange, but that's so how it's going. And the freedom
Maybe.
is something else. We like there's a control, trying to control, but
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a, yeah, it's the fear of the unknown in a way. Yeah,
Yeah, on the
good.
unknown, but also maybe to be free. I mean, that's
Yeah,
free. Yeah.
wanting to be free, but in my way.
There are
Yeah,
conditions.
yeah, 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 yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. Beautiful, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Oh, hi. There's a chat. When last Wednesday I had an afternoon, as you described, no one, unconditional love, no time, just wonder, no non-consistence, and just what there was. But the day after, I had the fear that there was just lost even. Well, I had the fear that there was just lost, even if the day before was just nothing and no problem. I talked with someone about that, and he answered that that was just an experience, but not what we really are. What so what are we apart nothing appearing as everything? Ah, an experience. It's I think it's more like this there can be for a day or longer or shorter, there can be no one, and then suddenly life is what it is and there's nothing going on. It's not an experience. It's like there's no one. And then me comes back, and then it seems like the story starts again, but there's something different. There's light into the darkness, you could say, and there's something different, but you can't even say what it is. It's so for everybody it's different. Yeah, it was lost, but it's not lost. It's the only thing there is, but there can on top of that there can be me and looking at it and being busy with it, and it's so convincing that it's, yeah, that it's stronger. That what is it's the only thing there is, but on top of, you could say, with that there's me being aware of what's going on and feeling I'm here and making feeling being busy with why and what's going on. That when that why and what's going on and trying to find out what's happening, that's already me. It there's That's the only thing there is. But on top of that, there's me going on. That can be coming back. Something like that. It's not what we really are. What as I see, there's no one. So it's not about what we are. There is no we. There is no you. That suddenly was completely lost, that whole idea that I am here and I have to deal. That can be suddenly like, oh, and then it comes back because that's so energetic. It's energetic. It has nothing to do with you. It's like those ideas can be there, and that awareness or being busy with what's going on. There's nothing lost. This me is coming back, you could say. Yeah. It's so convincing that we are there, that this body is always there. That can be for for a day or a second or something like that. It can be suddenly it's completely lost, that idea that I'm here and that wow, then it's amazing. It's just what's happening. It's already that, and then that energy is life is energetic. So it's like, oh, then that idea that suddenly there's that watching, and there's distance again, and there's me again, and then there's living in time. And it seems like it's lost now. It's not like there's me, but it can be very convincing, that whole story. It's already complete, but what we think, and that is the the concept or the beliefs about how it would look like, no problem and no nothing is going on. When there's a certain thoughts, and when there's a situation, and when there's um, seeing the whole body or tension, it seems like, oh God, there's me again. No, it isn't. There's what is happening. Thoughts can happen. They don't have meaning. That seeing the whole body and seeing like, oh, I'm back, that is what is happening. There can be for a while it's like that, and then something else is going on. So it's not always. It's like, how can I explain it? It's complete as it is. So sitting in a certain way, that is what's happening. So and it's not the same as that when that day there's a certain remembering of that day, and then you're looking for that same. No, it's not the same. It's different. Mm. It's new. Well, when there's me coming back, then that whole story about this is not the same, so there's gone something wrong. That's the story of me, of course, again. But that's so convincing and so the normal way that it seems like that's normal. And it's completely that, like what's happened the day before, you could say. It seems like it never happened, and it's lost. Me is the feeling there is gone something wrong or missing or not good enough. It's complete. It's already like that, but it's different. It can be stress, it can be a lot of thoughts. It doesn't matter. Hmm.
Good morning, Rose.
Good morning,
Have
Catherine.
have you got a date in mind for Brussels for the live
Oh,
meeting?
no, I didn't ask it yet. You
No.
want
Ah,
no. Oh,
yes.
yeah. No, we were talking about that, and we were thinking about March, maybe. Yeah, yeah, we were. Yesterday, I realized I have to call the people, like,
Okay,
because
yeah.
then we have not yet. We talked about like March and or April, and then we didn't. It was before the new year, so everybody. It's like it's a strange thing that you think like, yeah, in the new year we coming back to it. It's like it's nothing, but we do that. It's once like that. So I didn't do it. I didn't talk to her again.
Okay, yeah, Delilah. All right.
Yeah, but I will do, and then
Ah, yes, yes.
well, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It would be great to do a live meeting again. I love that. Yeah,
Mm,
sure. Yeah. Mm,
yeah, lovely.
mm.
Hi, Rose.
Hi. Hey.
Hey. You know, all the speakers talking about the non-duality speakers, they say, this is so ordinary, this is so normal, and it's this, right? But
Mm,
at the same time, it's also like for the individual, I think we're expecting something extraordinary at the same time because
mm,
you all saying, "Oh, this is not experience. This is not
mm,
knowing."
mm.
That's so different from what the person, the individual feels. You know,
Yeah.
that's so
Mm.
different. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's ordinary. Well, it's also extraordinary. That's
yeah.
so, and that's strange because we hear the yeah. Maybe I think what I remember, I did hear more the extraordinary than than the ordinary. So when everything fall away, it was like, oh, because it's suddenly there's longing for something else, and that wasn't it. It wasn't. I couldn't even say it was so at that moment like that. It was so ordinary
Mm,
and so yeah. Okay, yeah. Already it was like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. And that, but that
mm,
it wasn't for me. It wasn't that. It wasn't like a moment like oh like that. Uh, maybe
mm,
there were because maybe I don't know how that's going, but there were a lot of uh, glimpses before, like oh, and then so I don't know if it's that to say, but this was like boop, and then oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Is that what I was looking for? And I think what I can say for myself, because that's I
mm,
have for myself in the story, like in the
yeah.
years, then I think it was like how long ago? I don't know how long ago. 15 years ago, I know something like that.
Mm,
It's like
mm,
oh, but there's something else. There's a lot of concepts, beliefs, maybe it's lost, and it's deepening in a way. So that feeling of no, it's not a feeling. That unconditional love. I couldn't speak about that in that time. I didn't speak about that like 4 or 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years. Well, I didn't. I didn't. There wasn't that really that unconditional. What's now? It's like yeah, it is, and it's. I don't know. There's a deepening. So in that way, there seems to be uh, a development, but
mm.
in the same time, not
Yeah.
really. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's very normal, and it's also like, oh, it's something like joy. In a not my joy. It's life is that life. It's suddenly like, oh, life is that. Like look at little babies, you see it like, oh God, life is that. Or if we think it's the baby, well, it's more like, oh, that's how it is. We're so involved in busy with what's wrong. Mm.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I think I offline for a little bit, so I didn't hear the last bit. But anyway,
Oh.
to it's okay. To talk about the glimpses, can
Mm.
the glimpses be very short, like
Mm.
just
Yeah.
last for a
Yeah.
second? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah. Yeah.
feel, yeah, sometimes I just get this weird, like when I see things, and all of a sudden things become, how you say, sharper, everything more sharp. Mm,
Mm.
yeah, it
It's
just, I don't
yeah.
know, it just
Yeah.
sort of a different.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I don't know how to
Yeah. It's
describe it.
difficult to describe. It's so different. There can be all kinds of glimpses and so different.
Mm,
So yeah.
mm,
And you can't even. The funny thing is, you can't even grasp it or describe it.
no,
That's
no,
the
no,
strange thing of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think the moment you're trying to grasp it, it's gone.
Yeah, yeah, it's that you
Mm.
can't. And that's it's
You're
like,
trying to,
oh, what's going on? And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
yeah, and you
yeah.
try to describe, and in that trying, it's obvious, like, oh yeah, When you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
find a word, it's like, and then it's suddenly like, yeah, now we're talking.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's the same as this, like when there's asking like, what is this? What you mean by that? There's a sharing, but in a strange way, you can't even say what this is. There's a having words or using words, but
Mm.
it's not the same. Not really.
Mm.
Well, maybe
Mm.
the sharing is not in the words itself, it's also in energetic, it's underneath or the way
Uh-huh.
they said. Yeah.
Right. Do you think
Yeah.
that the because here I got the personality that very self-conscious, sometimes can be, and worry about other people's how other people's you know
Mm,
judge me or
mm,
whatever,
mm.
and that make me feels like a kind of a solid,
What you feel like?
solid,
Oh,
solid, like a
mm.
solid individual.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if I don't worry that much, it
Mm,
seems like a
mm.
more open, more free,
Yeah, but yeah, can be like that. It's yeah, yeah. It's like there's nothing going on here. It's just it's yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
it's so
Mm.
relaxed, so just not, yeah, just
But it not
like,
doesn't need to be relaxed too. There can be, but it doesn't need to be.
mm, mm,
What there when there's that relaxation, and then they're like,
mm,
oh yeah, everything is yeah, it's what it is, and all that, and then suddenly there's a certain, but somebody saying something or some thoughts are
mm,
coming in, and
mm,
it seems like, oh, what's going on here? It's just that
mm.
there can be tension or sudden thoughts. Yeah. That's also what's happening. This is not talking about always being, this is not like Rose is always like, yeah, woo. No. That would- no. I think you already saw that. It's not like it's everything. It's like and too,
You
of
are
course.
right.
Or tension or yeah, or anything.
But I liked the ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. I
Everybody
like
wants woo.
that.
Yeah, of course.
Mm. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Uh, This is so everything. And that's so, in a way, difficult to hear because there's subtly that strong longing for something better, some hope that there will be a kind of relaxation or peace or finally nothing going on and all that. And when there can be some glimpses or something like, oh, yeah, it's what it is, and it seems like smooth and all that, and then when that seemed like me is coming back, it seemed like, oh, there's something stressy or circumstances, and oh, how can I deal with that? It's stressy too. There's thoughts too. It's everything. There's that idea like, oh, what's going on? Those ideas can come up. There's no meaning in it. And that can be like taking it home and doing things. It's that too. It's like it's everything. So that's the beauty. There's nothing that's wrong. This is unconditional. The life is every circumstances, any feeling, any table, any face, any everything. The longing is that it's everything. But what somewhere there's something going on when there's me is trying to put it in a certain way for me because that's so normal because it seems like it's something for me. I'm looking for something for me and going on, and life doesn't see you, so it's completely neutral. It's so energetic and it can be anything, and that's unconditional love. It's unconditional. It's the freedom, and it's unconditional, so there are no rules. There's not seeing anyone. It's as it is, everything. It's everything for no one. It's singular, so it's for no one. It's what it is already. That's the completeness. Thank you. Oh. Oh. Hmm.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.